Hi, I want to thank you so much for your prayers and support of God's work in Ukraine. Uh, the last 6 months have been a very intense and difficult times for Christians, non-Christians alike. And as you know, Ukraine has been in the news a lot for the last 6 months. And I and other believers would say what's happening in Ukraine is first and foremost a spiritual battle. And then also, as part of that, there is also a physical battle that's taking place, one in which Russia has declared a unofficial war against Ukraine. And then thirdly, there's also a informational battle taking place, a informational war taking place. I want to just mention some about the spiritual battle that's taking place. God is doing something wonderful and scary at the same time. Often I think, God, can't you do your work in other ways? But I realize that God is God, and so He'll do what He wants to do and how He wants to do it. And God has created an incredible spiritual openness during the last 6 months. And as staff and other believers, we've been trying to take advantage of this openness. After Russia annexed Crimea, prayer movements started all around Ukraine. There's a prayer tent set up in Kiev probably 5 months ago, and but in many cities about 3 months ago, prayer movements started to arise, and people have been gathering together. So God is using this time to unite His church, and also using this time to direct people to Himself, because people are full of fear, uncertainty, and are looking for hope and protection. And the church, I would say, is taking a lead and giving people that hope for the future, which can only be found in Christ. The ministry definitely needs your prayers. Right now, it's a very intense time in the eastern part of Ukraine, in Donetsk, Lugansk, Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, and other cities. So fighting is still taking place. And also, as part of the informational war that's taking place, the Russian agents and separatists in the east have been spreading information that Protestant churches are their enemies. There have been Protestant churches that have been had their windows broken, and people have tried to attack them. Also, there are a pastor in Donetsk who was beaten. There is a priest in Donetsk who was kidnapped. He was released later. But also, there are many of in the east workers with the global church movement who show use the global church ministry materials in children's homes, and often those children's homes can be close to areas of fighting. So definitely pray for the staff in Ukraine. Pray for safety of staff and of Christians as we take the courage to continue to share the gospel. This last Sunday, May 25th, there's elections for the country and for the president. And this new president is taking active steps in trying to put down the terrorists, separatists, and pray for that. But just pray that believers would continue to be abiding in Christ, so that as they abide in Christ, we can be strong and share the hope that Christ gives. Pray that this openness to the gospel would continue, as people have never seen such an openness like they have now. And pray that the church would be wise in taking advantage of this openness that God has created. So thank you for being a part of God's work with us in Ukraine.